the main thing I want you to take away on this page right here is our market-based valuation. You want to do research, ideally within your niche. That way you can start to understand the different projects that are in your niche, what the current fully diluted valuation is. This is current price times the total supply. So in this example, it's $1 billion. So if we went to our token that also had $1 billion and we were doing our research and we found their price, we could just take that, multiply times $1 billion, and we would get this number. Same thing is true for the fully diluted valuation at all-time low. What's the cheapest price? Take that and multiply by the total supply. That would give us our fully diluted valuation at the all-time low. Same thing is also true for all-time high. So go to the highest price, multiply that times the total supply. In this example, it's $1 billion, and we would understand their fully diluted valuation at all-time high. And the same thing here for our launch. What was the price at launch when they first started their chart? And also, that's also that times the total supply. As we can see right here, our launch is going to be a $20 million fully diluted valuation on launch. We have $1 billion total tokens. Our launch price now is 2 cents. You can see this right here. 2 cents times $1 billion is 20 million. And that's how we end up with these values. So you're going to pull all this out. Well, the cool piece about this then is after you've done this research, which by the way, you can use a site like ICO Drops, really good. You can see the current active sales in launch pads, what's coming up, what has ended, VCs, who's raising through venture capital, what the valuations were. You could read all this. Fjord Foundry is really nice, or you can go to any launch pad really and start getting a sense of what they're going to the market at and what market caps are actually selling. That's something really important I encourage you to do, is look at the launch pads, look at what's selling now, and try and make some decisions off of this. The other thing is Masari. This will show a lot more VC investors, this kind of a thing, but you'll be able to see all the different projects that are raising money right now that did raise money. They do all kinds of data scraping and data analytics to bring you a whole list that will show just that, which you could see over here. So these are some good tools you can use. ICO Drops, Fjord Foundry, or any other launch pad. Encourage you to look through many different ones, and then also Masari. But once we've done that now, we have a good sense of how this project, in similar niches has performed, right, in similar other markets to this. So, and that's also really important when we talk about our valuation. For example, if we go with a centralized exchange token, usually those are much higher valuations, and so we would expect to see these values to be even higher than we see right here. Whereas if it was a normal utility token, usually it's going to be a little bit of much less of a lower valuation in that case. So all this, by the way, is dependent upon the research that you do. The main thing, though, is you don't want to be in a position where now you're trying to sell tokens at too high of a valuation, especially public sale, and you don't sell all that out. So again, this research is actually quite important. Your investors will also like to see that you've done this research as well. So you tell them, hey, we're looking to collect cash at a $10 million valuation. We're going to launch at $20 million, and this is why we believe it's good return for you. Furthermore, we use this sheet to show you some returns if the price goes this much. And by the way, based on our market-based valuation, we've even found that this price might go even higher than that, right? Or we might look at the all-time high and say, you know what? This project launched at a $20 million valuation. They went all the way up to 250. Now that's like a 12x. That's pretty good, right? So, and if you do the same thing here, what might that look like, right? So you can start to show through these different tabs and tools some potential ROI. But the main thing is you want to do your research. You want to be as objective as possible. And you want to make sure you put in this information, just really pay attention to it and think a little bit beyond what you might see in this sheet. So what I mean by that is our launch. If we want to look at our all-time high, I can look at this and say, well, we launched at 20 million. We went all the way up to 250 million. Then it came back down, right? This is our all-time low, so it actually never went below the launch price. That's really good. And right now, we're at 5x from the launch price. That's really nice. We're at $100 million FDV. Our token has some potential if it follows similar tokenomics and also niche as this one. If you look at this one over here, it launched at 50 million. Its all-time high was 100 million, so it did a 2x. Its all-time low was 5 million. So this had a pretty significant decrease from launch at one point in time, and now it's up at 20 million. Still did not pass the launch price, so anyone who bought here is down. All right, and so as an investor, though, if, for example, you bought in at a $20 million valuation or a $10 million valuation, you would still be at either break even or have an ROI. That's why this becomes really important for investors also to pay attention to. The main thing, though, is you want to make sure you're not getting to the market with too high of a valuation. That way nobody wants to touch it or buy it. So everything when it gets to the market should be an opportunity that's based in research. Now, I'm not going to go through the rest of this tab because it can get a little complicated, and I don't want to have to do that. I want to confuse you. The main takeaway, though, is you're going to do research before you come up with any of these values, because that way you have something to back that up from, something you've put your head into. be as objective as possible, be as realistic as possible, and we'll see you in the next video where we're going to do a brief outro.